Hello and welcome to another episode of The Power in Your Story and discovering its power to find your niche and attract your ideal clients. Hi, I'm Marianne. I'm a confident communication expert, and I help my clients speak their truth through story. And today I am super excited to be talking with Brooke Haynes, who is, wait for this guys, an energy weaver and freedom leader. So they both sound very attractive to me. Welcome, Brooke.
Thank you. This will be so much fun. Thank you for having me.
Yes. Now we met, this is going to be great because we're going to have a deep dive into the story that's been powering Brooke, and we actually haven't spoken for quite a few months now. And so I don't even know this story. So this is going to be a special surprise, and we're just going to go in deep to what's sort of powering the changes Brooke actually has made even since we talked all those months ago. And we're across the pond, aren't we? I'm in the UK, and Brooke, whereabouts are you?
I'm in Louisville, Kentucky in USA.
Beautiful, beautiful. Okay, so first of all, I've got to know, what's an energy weaver?
Ooh. Well, it is a term I coined myself when I realized who I really was and how I help people in the world. And it was an aha moment. I'm driving down the road in a wide open freeway. That my best stuff comes from the road. And I had been, after this 15 months or so of a beautiful journey of really stepping into myself, like really coming out as me, as Brooke, not as my mentors as I always have, but as true me. I'd already been through 15 months of that. And I'm like, okay, so now I'm just kind of nurturing that and just calibrating it to see really what it is. So I've been asking the questions. And I had a coach say, it's kind of like, you know, we always say we create a container. It's almost like you are the container. And I was like, interesting. Well, I went on, and a couple of weeks later, I'm driving down the road, and guess what? It just all came to me. I am the container. And what I have done my whole life, even when I was a caregiver and I was working with families, or whether it's inside my friends and their families, or whether it was an organization or the business I was working with, I go into the organization or family, the container. And I just intuitively find what needs to be done. And often that is to be a friend, to be a mentor, to be someone who can lift the pressure, if so will. So now what I do, and when I had this moment, I was like, this is who I am. And the reason it's not hard on me is because it's just me being. I'm just simply being me. So that is how I coined that. I'm like an energy weaver. And now and then I can go on to more of what that really means now. That was how I got there.
Yeah. So I'm fascinated. I love your story of how you got there, and that sort of download that you are the container. And I just loved seeing your face light up. That was really powerful. That really, and this is something that I'm passionate about. I help my clients with, when they speak, to feel that they're being themselves and not talking with the framework of, as you say, some guru or another coach or an influencer, because it doesn't, you know, we're intuitive beings, even though we often bury it in ourselves. And our listeners, even if they can't say, oh, she's not talking as herself, there's something that we pick up about, as you say, that energy of being yourself. So I think that's a beautiful story. And you were mentioning caring a lot for other people.
Yes.
Is that what brought you to the work of being an entrepreneur?
It's actually how I survived being an entrepreneur. I was in my 20s. I made very good money. I was very successful early in my 20s as a multi-level marketer We even had our own business. Like, we created our own multi-level marketing company. We had offices across the region. We did very well at a very young age. And then I walked away from all of that, which is a great, whole different story, at 25-ish. And by 26, I started redesigning. I took a break. And then by 27, I was redesigning kitchens. And I was making 6 figures redesigning kitchens. So my whole 20s, I did very well for myself financially. I wasn't what I would have told you I was happy, but I lived all of that very numb, very, very numb.
Were you beginning, sorry to interrupt, but were you beginning to sense that? I mean, I don't want to digress too much, but I can't help being curious, you leaving this marketing business that I guess you'd set up with others and was doing really well. Was that actually something telling you that there was a numbness there? What drew you out of it? It was a brave step to leave something doing well.
Well, I was leaving a partner and I had to leave the partner. I had to leave the whole thing. He wasn't my personal partner. He was a business partner, but it was morals and ethics. And I left there. So no, I had not done the self-discovery yet. I was in the age where during that time, awesome, when everybody's like, that's awesome. People didn't say that, but we did. So people would come into the office and be like, everybody's so happy. And they think it's awesome. Like, they think it was a new word almost, right? And so we were just very positive. And that's how I started off, was just being positive, just everything spins into a positive, and we don't think about negative. And that served me at that time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I didn't, I left due to morals and ethics, but I had not went through this personal discovery yet. But it was the next place, redesigning kitchens, when I looked up 3 years later and I had gained 75 pounds. Wow. I drank myself to sleep every night, but I was happy. Right? I was a happy girl. Everybody loved me. I'd show up with smiles. I was extremely positive. Everybody wanted, I would go in, I would make people feel good. Not intentionally. It's just who I was.
Yeah.
But I was like, wait a minute. If I'm this happy, why am I 7? And I asked the question. I was really nearly 100 pounds overweight and drinking myself to sleep every night. Wow. And that's when I was like, And the reason I quit that business was because I was making 6 figures. I was still broke. And I had this dream since I was 17 years old. Yeah. And it was to have a farm on an island, and it was for abused and abandoned children. I had this whole program I wanted to create. Wow. So when I was 30, someone said, why don't you just drop the whole idea of the island and just get a farm and get going?
Good idea.
So here I was. I said, well, if I'm making 6 figures and I'm broke, I might as well just go on the journey of building my dream, and still be broke.
And still be broke, but doing something you're happy.
Right.
Very good, powerful.
And now looking back, Marianne, that I don't suggest saying that, and just still be broke, because then I remained broke for a decade.
Because what? Sorry?
Because then I stayed broke for a decade.
Very powerful message.
Yes.
I guess you were giving yourself permission to be broke.
Yes. Beautiful
message. Very powerful. So the next 10 years, you did this farm, but you were broke.
I never did the farm. So what happened was, I realized I went through my money really quickly. And then I realized I need an income while I'm trying to build the farm. Right. And that's when I had a friend reach out and say, my assistant's about to quit. My assistant's quitting. I need someone just part-time to help me here, to be like a business assistant and also a personal assistant. And it was my friend who was, she had Ehlers-Danlos. And she needed help. Well, as soon as I started, that turned into a 70-hour-a-week job.
She had what? Sorry?
Ehlers-Danlos. It was a rare degenerative condition. And so that started into 70 hours a week very quickly. And then now I'm a caregiver instead of building my dreams.
Oh.
But the journey in caregiving is a beautiful one. Yes. So and then I went from, and then I continued caregiving. She died at 41. And I was with her for about 3.5 years. And every time I kept starting, I was like, okay, now it's time for me to go start this journey.
Yeah.
But I'd always need extra money, right? So I was always caregiving as I was building this journey and weaving my way around what that journey even looked like. And how did I bring this together? I was doing farm foods. I had this idea where if I could sell enough farm foods and deliver them to people's doors as like a grocery delivery, then someone would be like, whoa, you're selling like $100,000 worth of food. I'll invest in a farm for you. And then that would, and so I went and did that. Well, there's a problem with that. One, I burned out real quick. And the reason why was because I had no interest in farm food. I had an interest in working with kids on a farm. So I kept going all these indirect ways around this.
Sort of going round it, but never quite grasping it. So you were doing something that might get you there with the money, but it never quite worked.
Right. And now I know why, because now I understand more about life. And if I wouldn't do it just to be doing it, then I don't do it. So I don't do something based upon an outcome. So if it says, well, I'm going to do this because it'll make me money, I don't do it. If I'm going to do this because it'll get me to my dream, I don't do it. I do what makes me happy. And that puts me on the path of lining up with my dream.
That's beautiful. So powerful. So really, you're aligning yourself with yourself, which in fact raises your vibrations for possibility, doesn't it?
Beautifully said. Yes.
Oh, yeah. I love it. That is so powerful.
But it took me another decade to learn that. It took me a decade from where we left off to learn that. But that is where I am.
So that we now have a decade from quitting the kitchens to hoping you could make some money, and then another decade to learn.
Well, there was a decade from quitting. For a decade, I had quit the kitchens, and then for a decade, all through my 30s, I was trying to build something, and I was caregiving all the whole time. The way I was supporting myself was through caregiving, but I was building a business the entire time.
Okay. Oh, but another decade. So 2 decades.
Yeah. Well, we're all through my 30s. So that was 1 decade.
Oh, 1 decade. I just thought another decade. I thought that was powerful.
I'm on the next one. I'm 42 now. So this decade's a little different already.
You already feel it. You already feel it. Okay. Yeah. So so you started to understand, and you burnt out trying to do all these farm foods. And I guess no investor came, but you realized also that actually I'm not on the path that I had set out, which was this farm with children. You did the farm foods, no farm, no children. So what changed for you?
Well, I met with a woman one day, and she was in the time bank, which means you exchange time for time. So it's not like you're a professional and you're not. So I'm worth $10 and you're worth 125. It was equal time for time. And I met with a woman who was a professor and helped people in business for 1 hour. And she said, why do you keep going indirectly around this farm when your passion is kids? Why don't you just go start mentoring the kids? So I did. And I mentored foster kids in the system. And then I got my own foster child and brought her into the house. And so that's that. And then I was like in the thick of things, and thank goodness for that, because man, the whole idea of the farm and the program, I went from thinking, oh, I want to help these needy kids to, no, when people are in that situation, the last thing they need is more sadness, more pity, more someone nurturing their badness, their unfortunateness, right?
Sorry, do you mean the last thing the foster kids need is somebody? Yeah. You
They
need
don't need someone to be pitiful for them. They don't need sadness around them. They don't need someone to be like, oh, I want to save you. They don't need,
so you need to deal with yourself first.
Right. They need to learn tools on how to do that themselves. Right.
Yes. Yes.
And so that was a huge aha moment for me too. My foster daughter, I told her, I'll pay you $5 to wash this wall. It was just an easy wall, a dog. So, you know, dogs shake and all that.
Yeah.
$5 a foot. She wouldn't do it. Not why? Because she's taken care of at the very minimal. She had no idea how to go above and beyond. Plus, there was this, well, I am in this position, so people will take care of me and you feel bad for me and I will milk it. But also now but that was what I was learning during that time. But now that I know more about life, I'm like, well, that just makes sense. You don't repair, you don't pull people forward by being pitiful for them.
Such a powerful comment. So true. So true. And we all have to make, we that sort of want to care or empaths, we sort of want to love, we want to fix things, but we can't. The only things we can fix are ourselves.
And yes, absolutely. And the way we fix ourselves is to know that we're perfectly okay. You know, very just to start accepting it, accepting who we are. That was my last biggest story, was the power behind accepting who I am.
How did that happen?
That's how I became an energy weaver. It was how that happened. It, you know, it was a journey. I remember there was a time about 18-ish months, about 2 years ago, something like that, when I was working with someone who I totally respected and looked up for. I saw me working with her for a long, long time, forever, you know, and there was this point that came to, but I also have this vision of working with several groups or a few groups. And it came to the point where, you know, she was like, I want to, she's like, I feel like I'm over here, I'm ready to get married. And you're over here saying, I want to get married. I like getting married. I want to be in a relationship, but you're doing other things. And it was like this big moment, because I was like, that's how my man always felt. It wasn't that I was out cheating or flirting, but I had friends and I had parents and I had hobbies. And every time I was away from that man, he would feel like I was like, not cheating like physically, but cheating like, your hobbies are more important, your friends are more important, your business is more important. And I was like, whoa, there's a pattern here. And when I saw that, I was like, wow, you know why? But this is who I am. And it's total. And I accepted this. I said, I have a lot of people in my life that don't even have family. And I'm not responsible. That's not a good word. I want to help them through things that most family members would. Okay. And they don't have family. Yeah. And I can't line up who's more important in my life. Okay. So yes, you may be my partner, but that doesn't make you more important in my life. Okay. If my dad heard this video, he'd be like, we need to talk. Okay? But in my life, I can't rank love. It's love. And I love my friend who needs my help. And I love my partner, and I love my son, but my son needs me. He's at 5. Okay. So he comes first. Okay. When he's 18, he may not. Okay. Yeah. But, so I was like, holy cow, I am someone, and I'm water. I am someone that if you say, no, this is it, I'd start to die, you know? And so I have to have my free range and my freedom to be able to go to and gravitate, intuitively decide who around me could use me the most, but not in a self-sacrificing way. I did do it in a self-sacrificing way for years, but now I do it because I do it I'm in my own space. Yes, I can do this. It's a much healthier relationship, but it's interesting how it becomes stronger. But I digressed. So what happened was I accepted myself for the first time. And I said, and I accept her. I said, I totally understand that you need someone that's not going to be with anybody else but just you in this business partnership. And I respect that. I believe in it. We'll find you someone who can do that, but it's not going to be me. And it was just this 100% acceptance in that moment. And it just kind of made my whole life make sense. But anyway, So then she was like, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. Because we didn't let go yet. It was just like a comment, right? Yeah. And then it ended up dissolving. She was like, I need 100%, So I let it go. And it was one of the best things I could have ever done in that moment. Working with her was one of the best things I had ever done. Yes. Leaving was one of the best things I had ever done. Amazing. It really empowered me to step into myself and to step into who I was. Yeah. So that was the first layer of it. And then it became like more layers. I said, you know what? Because I left there's this income loss. And when this income lost, I was like, I'm going to go do Lyft, which is like an Uber, that drive cars and people. I'm going to go do that on the weekend nights when my son's with his father. I'll just go do that for there was no pressure. I didn't really need a lot of money. I knew it was going to be temporary. So I get in the car, and I'm a big Esther Hicks person. I listen to Esther Hicks all the time.
Abraham and Esther Hicks.
Yes. So I was listening all the time, but I wasn't really and I could see when it was working, but I didn't know how to really be in control of it, be out ahead of it, right?
Like ahead of what?
Of why it worked and why it didn't. The times when these principles that she talks about works and when they didn't, I couldn't control it, right?
And I couldn't figure out why. Sort of see a pattern of what it was. You just noticed sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't.
Right. And I couldn't figure it out. However, when I went to go do Lyft, I had so much fun. I had no expectations. I had no amount of money that I would needed to make. And I saw it. I literally saw the game of life. I would just have fun. There was no responsibilities or obligations. I wasn't, even though I was independent, it wasn't like I had to run my own business, right? Sure. And if I didn't want to talk to you, I didn't have to. I'd just pull up. But I had so much fun that I started playing with it. I want to have a relationship. I want to have a conversation about relationships. Boom, we talk about relationships and jump in the back of my car. I want to end up on that side of town, but gently. I didn't really care. I just thought it'd be fun, right? And I was having so much fun that everything I was asked for happened.
So just to clarify for all of us, basically, you're having fun with this sort of Uber style work you're doing. You didn't have the commitment like, oh my gosh, please, can I have another book, because you had enough money, so you felt free and you decided to have some fun. And every time you said, well, I would love a conversation about relationships, the person that stepped in the car had a chat and boom, it started to go into relationships.
Yes.
A pattern.
Yes.
More. That is powerful. Yeah.
Okay. So I saw this and it was so much fun. And then I saw this. Well, it's getting late. I could just do one more, make an extra $10. Yeah. Ruh-roh. Now I'm doing it past when I was told it's time, right? When I didn't want to do it anymore. Now I'm doing it because of work. Because I could have stopped in that moment because I was like, I'm getting tired. But I chose to do one more. And guess what would happen? Wrong side of town, sketchy person, weird conversation. It just went ruh-roh. And so I had fun with this. And I learned how to stop when I was ready to stop, not to push myself that extra little bit.
That is amazing. Yeah.
And so I did it for a month and I had so much fun, like I said, and I really learned the laws during this game.
The laws of attraction.
Yeah. Yeah. I call it the laws of life.
Very nice.
And so I stopped and said, well, how can I apply this in my business?
Yeah.
And I said, F it. I literally said, F it. I'm going to go have some fun. And when I said that, what fun for me in business is, my one single favorite thing to do is to meet people one-on-one that I've never met before.
Oh, I love it.
So like in a networking group, you know, you're all in this group and you're like, hey, I'm going to contact you. To show up with them one-on-one. Very favorite thing to do. So I booked 3 days of back-to-back one-on-ones. And I started having fun. And it was halfway through the second day when I started having emails. Hey, can you do this? Hey, do you do this? Do you anybody do this? Can I hire you for this? I have a product line that ships all over the world. I was getting orders from people. I don't market it, but I was getting orders from people who had never ordered before. It was magic.
Wow.
And before I knew it, I had 3 times the income. And then the COVID hit soon after that. I had 3 times the income than I have ever made as an entrepreneur. I had just fun. I showed up for people who were afraid of COVID, pivoting their businesses, not knowing what to do, and showed up for them and helped, was like a catalyst and helped them transition to build their businesses and expand it larger than they've ever thought. And it was just a huge, powerful year where I showed up having fun as myself, staying connected, and it was beautiful. It was just 2020 was my favorite year of my life. And it was because of what we're talking about. And so now, then I took that momentum and I'm just reshaping what it is that makes me happy every day. And that's how
fine tuning all the time.
Yes. You know, all the time, not every year or 6 months, it's like every 2 weeks. I'm nurturing more. I have a list. I'm more what I want and less of what I don't want. I would call it available and non-available. And I have to do that with me because I will do things I really don't want to do all the time. So I have some things that I see as a habit, like saying yes to this one client because I like him, right? But I don't really want to be doing the work. I have to put him on the board as not available for, not him, but that kind of work. Because otherwise I'll just keep in the habit of saying yes, right?
Yes.
So I have what I'm available for.
With that thing, would you have said at any point in your life you were a people pleaser?
I was up until the moment that I stepped into myself and really learned that I can have freedom and peace and I can be better for others when I'm not looking to please everyone.
Yes.
I can actually please them more.
Absolutely. It's so powerful. Oh, lovely. I know it's a bit of a label, but it's quite a useful shorthand label. So that's a great realization. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's been fun. I love life. And it wasn't always easy. I know I had really dark times in my life. But I've loved the discovery of it. And it just keeps getting better and better and better and better.
That's wonderful. And so basically what you've been doing, even now, every 2 weeks, you're doing a not available and available. So because of the character you are, you could easily be available for so much, but you sort of know what would burn you out. So you have to have your non-available and you have to review it every 2 weeks because it's going to shift slightly. Love it.
Right. And even though I'm a business owner, I don't stick to this is what I do. Now, for some people that really inspires them and it helps them funnel their creativity. So I strongly suggest that for a lot of people. For me, I'm open. And even one of my favorite things to do is one-on-one coaching. And I have clients and I love them. And to sit here and go through and watch them kind of unfold into this magic of being connected with their body again and unreleasing these emotions, I love it. Even then, though, I don't want to just only do coaching because I like a variety. And so guess what? I let that be okay. I let it be okay. I don't take these thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that I have spent on coaching, who says, no, you do one thing and you say, I don't do that. I allow it to be okay that I can help this woman map out her book. I can help this person do a podcast. I can help this person figure out how to take their presentation and turn it into a very engaging workshop. And I can coach. and I can show up in a community and teach. I mean, so I allow myself to do the things that make me inspired and happy.
That is beautiful. And is that where Freedom Leader comes?
Yes. So Freedom Leader comes from that's my coaching end. And I'm a part of Nick Brew has a law of attraction group, and he spun off this Freedom Leader group where if people wanted to teach and to become coaches, his principles, then you could. And he calls them Freedom Leaders. Well, I have been part of that. And it's been the single thing, like I said, like the Esther Hicks, when I said, F it, I'm going to go have some fun. 48 hours later, I found him, and he had the F it happy game. See, I called it the F it fun game. He called it the F it happy game. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's synchronicity.
You know? I know there is so much synchronicity in this world. It's so true. Such a powerful story. Yes.
That part is my Freedom Leader, where I show up and I coach, and I coach as a Freedom Leader. Energy Weaver is when I go into organizations and I into a container, whether it's usually an organization or a business, whatever that container is, and help intuitively know who to help. And that could be, we sit down and we have an emotional breakthrough session. We have a business idea masterminding session. Or they're like, I'm overwhelmed in emails. And I'm like, okay, let me help you do some emails. Because I have the experience. I was an admin assistant, a virtual assistant. Yes. So all my experience coming together as an energy weaver. Yes. So that's where and I am that for two different companies.
That is a beautiful story, Brooke. Thank you so much for
yes.
I love this story, and I'm sure you guys love this story. It's such a powerful example of a life on a journey, thinking you want to go in one direction, then getting perhaps sidetracked and distracted, and then trying to go in that direction and thinking, I've got to get there and I'm going to do it in different ways, and you're still not getting there, and finally getting to somewhere that really lights you up. And this truly, I mean, what I believe in, as I said, with my clients, is so important. You've got to be yourself. Whatever other people say, it's so important. And I just love that story, and the fact that all the experience, which is what I'm beginning to see for so many of my clients, so many of my guests, is that all that tapestry, that richness of experience, even the mistake, well, sometimes especially the mistakes, actually.
So you hit something there. That is, you just said it. So now I look and I know why my journey was such a woo, because now when I accepted myself and created a position and created that, brought in all of it, every piece of that journey is there that I am using. I am pulling from all of it. I am pulling from the caregiving. I am pulling from the admin assistant. I'm pulling from the part that wanted the bringing everyone together for the farm. I'm pulling from all of it. So none of it was a mistake or going too far away. It all brought me together, but it took me accepting myself and going into the pureness of the joy of life to see, oh, I've been working on this my whole life.
Exactly. It has been my path. It has been meant to be. The timing is right, and I accept myself. Very, very powerful. Oh, I have totally so enjoyed this conversation.
Thank you.
And it's been totally spontaneous, and I just totally trusted Brooke that she had this story. She said, oh, I think I know what I want to say, and I didn't go into it before. So I've really enjoyed it, and it's been as powerful as I trusted. And I know and hope all of you have enjoyed that and see the inspiration of such a lovely person. Like you all are, of course, Brooke is full of vitality and accepting herself, she accepts us. And of course, I want to remind you that you all have power. It's just going to be slightly different. And to believe in yourself, and your story is so important. I get so excited about that. And do you know how to craft your story? If you're interested in getting to grips with a self-paced course with some exercises. I'm going to put the link down below, using story when speaking, and anybody can contact me as well. And just believe, I mean, this is an amazing story, and you have a wealth and a tapestry of stories as well. And it's such a wonderful way to connect with your clients and your tribe and your real people, because when you come out, you attract the people that really need your help. So I'll put all the links down below. Brooke, thank you. It has been an absolute joy talking.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. I've loved sharing space with you. You really brought it out in me. So thank you.
The story weaver and the energy weaver.
Yes. Yes. And I'm going to have to talk to you too about the story weaver, because I'm working with some people who might use your expertise with that.
That sounds good to me. Thanks for listening, guys. Take care. See you next time. Bye.
Bye.